Hi, my name is Kevin, and we will be debating which insect would cause the greatest infestation or losses. I am debater A, and my species is the Hypera postica, and its common name is alfalfa weevil.
Howdy, I'm Vera Kingsley, and my species is the Diuraphis noxia, whose common name is the Russian wheat aphid.
Alright, so the alfalfa weevil is a species of beetle found in alfalfa fields throughout Europe. Eggs are usually laid late fall or winter inside alfalfa stems, which later the larvae feed on for 3 or 4 weeks. Before pupating in the cocoons they make. They emerge in 1 or 2 weeks and keep feeding on the alfalfa plant for a week or two. The larva has a distinctive black head and no legs with a yellowish-green body, a white dorsal stripe, and white lateral stripes. And they can be about 1 centimeter or 0.4 inches long. The adults grow to a length of about 4 to 5.5 millimeters with a general brown color and a dark mid-dorsal stripe. They are a problem in many parts of the world, ranging from Europe to North America, the Middle East, North Africa, and Iran. They were introduced into the United States from Southern Europe, where they were first discovered in 1904 in Utah, but are now presented in all 48 mainland states. These insects feed on alfalfa plants from their beginning stages of their life, all until they die. The larvae causing the most damage by initially feeding on the inside of terminal leaves and later move to foliage on the lower portion of the plant. The leaves are skeletonized as larvae increase in size. They later defoliate plants by feeding between the veins, the buds, and growing tips. The adults generally feed on the leaf margins, which create a feathery appearance on the foliage. These eaten leaves dry very quickly, giving the field a grayish to whitish cast. It is estimated that the alfalfa weevil caused hundreds of millions of dollars in losses and reduced yields by 10 to 15% annually.
Hey, so the Russian wheat aphid originates from southern Russia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. They first showed up in Texas in the United States in 1986. There is no need for them to lay eggs, as the females can give birth to live young without fertilization. In U.S. populations, these aphids are in U.S. populations of these aphids, there are no males. In the populations with males, when the female is fertilized, she will lay eggs that overwinter. It is not necessary for all the aphids to overwinter because they can tolerate extremes in temperatures. Their food of choice are cereal crops like wheat and barley, but will eat other grasses when those are not available. While feeding, the aphids release toxins into the plant, causing discoloration and even bleaching, which can stop the grain from developing. If the aphids feed on developing plants, they can prevent the head of the plant from opening, which stunts the growth. The results of these feeding habits cause tens of millions of dollars of losses in the U.S. alone. These little gals live in colonies and can migrate to other areas as the need arises.
Alright, so you mentioned that Rancho wheat aphid releases toxins into the plants, which can lead to plants to stop developing. This seems kind of inefficient if the insect plants on surviving off of this plant. You said they also feed on the developing plants, which does not allow for the plant to fully grow. Against this sounds counteractive, as they are basically destroying their own food source. Since the alfalfa weevil is basically born inside an alfalfa plant, they not only allow the plant to continue to grow and develop, but they are also able to consume the plant in its entirety, from the leaf to the stem to the roots. The alfalfa weevil is also more destructive in my opinion because it has been very difficult to control this pest. Since the eggs are laid inside the alfalfa stem, it is very difficult to know there is an infestation until the beetles are grown and have already started devouring the crop. An extensive search for this insect, which includes close observation of various stems from different parts of the field, would be needed in order to prevent this pest from taking over.
Okay, so in extreme cases, the plant will stop developing, but in most cases, there's just a discoloration of the plants. This always leads to a reduced product yield. These little guys live inside the curl of the leaves and are very hard to detect. Often the only way to know you have an infestation is when there is a discoloration. Also, the Russian wheat aphids are migratory and move on as they see fit. You mentioned that the alfalfa weevil lays eggs, which means that they must mate in order to reproduce. The Russian wheat aphid females give birth to live young, all female, for 60 to 80 days during their lifespan, thus eliminating the need to mate. They have also been known to survive in temperatures as low as negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. They are very difficult to control and are known as one of the most invasive species in the world.
Right. For decades, a variation of methods have been implemented to try and control the alfalfa weevil, although many have failed or only reduced it by a small amount. The most efficient method of controlling the pest is early harvesting, but this is not economically beneficial and would end up in a greater loss of profit. Other controlling methods are introducing parasitoid wasps, but they are not present enough in the fields to prevent economic damage. Shipping off fields during winter for weed control helps reduce some of the pressures caused by this pest, but it cannot be relied for overall control. Shipping is where the sheep feed on and trample stems where the weevils lay eggs. So farmers have to rely on insecticides, but even these reduce only about 70% of weevil population. And even though, like you said, the alfalfa weevil does require mating in order to reproduce, it lays from 20 to 25 eggs in one sitting. And they are the most damaging pest in most of the United States, from California to Pennsylvania.
Okay, so sheeping is not a viable method for controlling the aphids as well, since the same problems arise. Russian wheat aphids are also parasitized by many parasitoid wasp species. The wasps lay an egg inside of the aphid's body, which cause the eventual mummification and death of the aphid. These wasps are used as natural biocontrol methods to prevent infestation of them. However, there's often not enough of them to go around. Russian wheat aphids communicate with each other by producing an alarm pheromone. The alarm pheromone is secreted by the cornicles located at the end of the abdomen. The alarm pheromone helps detect another aphid or a predator near them. If a predator is near them, they respond by dropping off the host plant. As one of the most invasive agricultural species in the world, Russian wheat aphids have an extensive impact on the ecosystems they invade, as their habitat range continues to expand into new regions. Russian wheat aphids are continually destroying the plants they feed on, which include a variety of cereal grains such as wheat and barley. A mature Russian wheat aphid can produce up to 1.5 daughter nymphs per day over the span of a month. In some cases, females can reproduce up to 4 nymphs in a single day.
Right, so like I said, the alfalfa weevil is able to feed from the plant from its birth up to the last day of its life. They not only feed on one part of the plant, but they devour the entirety of it. I believe they are the most destructive species of the two because there are not many effective methods of getting rid of this pest that do not include vast economic damage. I think it's important to continue research on them because by following and analyzing their life cycle and their patterns, farmers can get a better understanding as to when they are the most active or when they reproduce the most in order to get a better and more effective management on them.
It is my belief that the Russian wheat aphid is more destructive of the two. I base this on the fact that mating is not necessary for reproduction and that they are very hard to control. These little guys are world travelers and are found all over the globe. Wherever they go, they sow destruction in their wake. They are able to handle extreme temperatures and cause massive destruction, making the fields that they infest virtually useless.